The general debate of the 66th session of the General Assembly continued on Saturday, the 24th, with speeches from 31 countries. A support of Palestine's statehood was expressed by many of the leaders, as well as the need for more efforts to fulfill the Millennium Development Goals. The Prime Minister of Lesotho opened the debate and spoke of the MDG deadline's steady approach and the urgency with which many of the key issues need to be addressed.
Continues to be overwhelmed by unending hurdles in the path towards the achievement of these goals. Despite globalization, the least developed countries, LDCs, are yet to be fully integrated into the global markets.
The Prime Minister's speech primarily addressed the theme of this year's general debate, the role of mediation. The Kingdom of Lesotho spoke of the need for the United Nations to take a greater role in conflict resolution, a sentiment shared with the Prime Minister of India, who spoke soon after. The two emphasized the need to conduct peace talks in conflicts such as the Libyan crisis before resorting to the use of force.
Peace that is imposed without consulting all parties to conflicts cannot be sustainable. Bias and abuse of military power to influence the outcome of mediation in conflicts will quickly erode the credibility of the UN as an honest mediator.
The international community has a role to play in assisting in the processes of transition and institution building. But the idea that prescriptions have to be imposed from outside is fraught with grave danger.
The Prime Minister of India received applause when he addressed the issue of Security Council reform. India has previously insisted there must be more accurate representation of members, and the G4 countries, India, Brazil, Germany, and Japan, have pushed for these changes to the UN Security Council.
The Security Council must be revitalized and reformed. The reform and expansion of the Security Council are essential if it is to reflect contemporary realities.
The address by the Prime Minister of Guinea-Bissau, Carlos Gomes Jr., also called for a more inclusive Security Council with permanent representation of the African continent. The Prime Minister spoke of the urgent need for support in the fight against drug trafficking and organized crime, but also highlighted the advances and efforts made by the African nation to advance on the Millennium Development Goals.
Despite ongoing efforts, Guinea-Bissau continues to face challenges with regard to basic sanitation, supply of drinking water and energy, and in providing primary health care services, to cite but the most pressing issues. The high rate of poverty that still prevails in our country has forced the government to adopt an ambitious agenda for the future, embodied in the National Poverty Reduction Strategy document.
In keeping with one of the most talked about issues at the UN, the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda spoke of peace in the Middle East. He expressed support for the two-state solution to the Palestinian and Israeli conflict and responded to Palestine's request for statehood at the UN.
It is against this backdrop that we decided to join with others who have already done so and grant recognition to the state of Palestine.
In his closing remarks, the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda called on the UN to take action in order to show that leaders are up to the task to face the world's toughest challenges.
The world's people are looking to us here in this great hall of the United Nations for answers. We are their best hope for building a safe, secure, and just world. We cannot afford to disappoint.
The general debate will continue high-level speeches through September 27th. Michelle Bege for South-South News, United Nations.